Hi friends. Good morning. You know, I was like reflecting as I was getting my swole on. Not really, right? But I have to exercise like pretty much every day. Part of my PTSD recovery. And it was something that I kind of neglected for a while because I was so overwhelmed for the last, 13 years going, and I'm still suffering. Digital abuse is challenging since we're living in the wild, wild west and our systems are not designed to handle it. But so even when you can put some of it in the rear view, at a certain point you're just like, you want to be done with it, right? If anyone knows what that's like, But anyways, I digress. I think it's so amazing that our society, over the last few years, like we've demanded healthier foods, healthier products, And as we think about just, we the people, we the collective of like what we want, I think we're starting to kind of wrap our heads around the needs for a healthier, like we know that like mental health is important, but we don't necessarily know how to achieve it, right? Because we know, like looking at like the World Health Report and happiness indicators, you can link them, but essentially, we're not happy. And I'm not comparing that to other countries. Like we know that. We know we haven't even gotten marginally close, given we're such, the greatest superpower the world has ever seen, right? And we should be, right? And so I wanted to share it's like one of the tools that I use to like help keep my lizard on a leash while still suffering. Like how did this, I've had to, like I dive into this because, I'm a wackadoodle and I'm blessed to work with some amazing people who are incredibly intelligent and, they understand this, I work school public health and they pioneer these kinds of spaces, right? And one of the things that we discussed a lot and what they wanted to understand is like, how have you been able to move kind of like out of the fight or flight response while you're still suffering kind of like systemic trauma, both from your primary abuser and then also through the system of like kind of that we're seeing played out at the national scale, like through our courts, but also just on a microcosm level in my personal life, seeing laws not being applied, constitutional rights of equal rights under the law, whatever. Because it's a huge problem, because just like, and it's not easy, right? And it's not, and I too wanted a magic bean, like you eat the bean and you're all better, right? We're just like, can't you see? Just like, I was so frustrated for so long. Just like, make it stop. Like, can't you see it? Like, it's so obvious. It's the laws, this, like, whatever, right? But ultimately, all you can control, right, is yourself. And staying in that place and like keeping, like, you can look back, right? I can look back at the past now, it's been 3 years since I'm exposed to the physical, and I've learned to survive the digital by learning the skill sets of those, right? And things like these I just make it myself because I learned to sew. My daughter liked it, and they're cute. And we'll all be using these one day. Going to a meeting, kids in school. I have privacy. They're in bags. And I just sew them because it's like nervous energy anyway, so I can pay better attention. Just like I walk during meetings on treadmills or whatever. I'm neurodivergent. We're people too. And there's access. Circling back, welcome to my world, Alice. Come down this rabbit trail with me. So there's this application, it's called Feeling Great, Feeling Good, with David Burns, his CBT therapy, and doing that in person, I've been blessed and fortunate to be able to do that, right? But like, even with that and me doing that throughout this time, it wasn't enough, because in the moment, like when I'm in that courtroom or like digital abuse is ever present. It's all the effing time, right? You walk to you go to the grocery store, you're with your kids, and like you go to buy milk, and all of a sudden someone's just like cancel your credit card, right? Or like your maps are starting to like send you like round and round and round and round. You're late for like a doctor's appointment, whatever, and it can be absolutely infuriating. Or like you come home and like IoT whatever, and all of a sudden spooky music is coming on, or like or you wake up every morning for like months and like you have to spend 3 to 4 hours like resetting, getting like, because all the food's gone bad because they turned the electric, whatever, right? And so you gotta get up, reset all the systems, like take control back of the thermostat, refrigerator, and like eventually you just put chains on the windows and the doors, and like, it got nuts. But so it was like, how could I get better? I was living it in like every moment of every life, right? And I had to learn, and I felt so alone and so unheard, and like that's the future, and a system that's not equipped to handle it, because technology moves at like a rapid fudging pace, right? And I had to learn the law because my rights just were being annihilated because power, money, incentives were not in the interest of helping. It doesn't matter. That's just the way that our world works, right? Presently, on a micro scale and a national scale, we see that playing out, and I know that people around this country, whatever their stories are, whether they can't feed their families, or they just lost their jobs, or or they haven't been able to find work, or their industry has been slowly moving away, or whatever it is, right? I mean, just looking at what's been happening over the last like 30, 40 years, like we're suffering. We all are, and I recognize that like I'm a lot more privileged, significantly so, than the majority of people. So if it could happen to me, like it could happen to anybody. And we don't have systems in place to help people. And like when people are hurt, and they're suffering, and they don't have like recourses to get help, not just in like sewing up, wounds, or like healing broken ribs, but in like helping them process and understand what's happened to them, so that they don't pass it on to their children, so they don't create generational trauma and negatively impact like the rest of their friends, their family, their neighbors, their communities, and this division that we're seeing in societies, blaming each other rather than like the root cause of what's causing this. We need we need way more mental health resources and people trained in the techniques, right? Because ultimately, what are we, every single person, like, they need as societal creatures of like what makes us human, Maslow's hierarchy. We need to be heard, we need to be understood, and we need, like, we evolved into societies that we need connection, right? It's why we outlawed federally, like, coercive control. And yet, you know, we have an equal part to blame as a society that we've kind of become apathetic in what we allow as news and clickbait, and like that kind of, we reach for the Snickers, not the pistachios or the healthy snack or whatever it is that you like. Because, and it's rewiring our brains to stay in that fight or flight. And the longer that we do that, like, take it from me, right? And while mine might be have been intensified, it's the same rewiring. It makes us complacent, it makes us malleable, and it's the antithesis of what made our society and our economy like what it was, right? And so we know, like, just looking at, you know, all the data out there, that people are suffering, and we know that the people aren't happy, right? Like, people are not, like, this is the lowest the happiness score has been since it started being measured in 2012 is when they did this happiness index, 6.725 on a scale of 1 to 10. 2012 it was 7.082, and so that's like a significant decline. We've never been more miserable, and things are not getting better, they're getting worse, right? And one of the reasons that's been cited is or that's needed, I guess, is like access to mental health resources and like trained mental health resources. And so long story short is this app, Feeling Good, Feeling Great. It takes all those tools, those like cutting edge, like evidence-based cognitive behavioral therapy, like wizardry therapy things, and it's in your pocket. You have a supercomputer in your pocket. You can fact check everything. You can get to the truth. Like, you know, don't re-incentivize the system to like rot your brain. Just try not to. You can start small. Because just like with healthy foods, we can do the same thing with our media, with our news. Like, drive the corporate interests into what will make the society that you want to see. But you need to feel understood instead of projecting that out, like, onto like those you love and care for, right? Your frustration, or, you know, it helps you process, because it's so intelligent, this software, it's AI software. And they've been, like, I know Jeremy, the founder, personally. Like, I've known him for a long time, we're friends, and, you know, like, he built this to, like, it's like saved, like, CBT therapy like saved him, and he's privileged too. He went to Stanford, he's a genius. And I started using this application, and like, you know, he asked me recently, he's like, you know, they've essentially perfected it, and he's like, I don't know, he's like, I want to help people, and I don't know how to like you can download it for free, and you can try it, and you can just engage with it, and like, you don't have to get a subscription or whatever. It's only if you want higher level resources, like you need a lot of help, like a lot of help. But like, you can just sit there and you can just like have it on your phone and just engage with it while you're at work. It's like, yo, Dave just came by, and just like, and just say what happened, and it'll be like, and it'll process it back to you. Oh, that's like, it'll tell you essentially what it thinks you're feeling, right? If it gets it wrong, it'll ask you insightful questions, and then it'll kind of come back and it'll engage with you in a dialogue. And it just like, for me, it's like, oh, is that, it kind of helps me process faster than I can figure it out myself. And I'm extremely well read on all the trauma, CBT therapy, and I've been working with like experts for like a long freaking time. And I'm from California originally, even though I'm a hostage to the East Coast tundra now because I had kids here. So, you know, and if you don't want to do all that work, like, but you want to be, you know, take care of your health, take care of your brain, take care of your family, and like, you know, excel at work, because you know, the whole like wait 24 hours before you send a nasty email. Sometimes, you know, you need tools like this to help keep your lizard in check, especially with what we're getting pummeled with. So I just suggest like give it a try. Or if you're a small business, school, whatever, you want to see performance indicator like improvement to, because you're having a culture issue, or you're in that like storming, or you're in that storming before you get to norming, you're having a team that's having some, you know, tension issues, give this a try. Because data doesn't lie. I'm a researcher, like quasi-experimental, mixed methods, impact evaluation, like give it a try. You'll be surprised. What do you got to lose? I mean, if it could help while like the round table up there, I mean, I'm probably like, yeah, the round table. So, and Jeremy and David Burns, yeah, he shared his why story, and like, and I love leaders like that, you know. So I would check it out, because it's a good guy, and he's like, he's been working on this like for years with David Burns, and like he's quite the perfectionist. So if it doesn't help you, offload that. But if it does, maybe it'll make your life a little bit better.